the 1990s, gay people were making remarkable progress in our struggle for equality. And this, of course, created a great deal of concern amongst conservatives. Nowhere more so, perhaps, than in the Catholic Church. Catholic Church had defined homosexuality as a disorder of one sort or another for a very long time. By the late 1990s, Catholic women and men, gay people and their friends, were starting to think that it was time to take their message to the Catholic Church to try to effect what they called a conversion of the heart. For several months in the late 1990s, a large number of people were meeting in Melbourne to discuss the issues, to talk about how they might best do this. They wrote to the Pope, they wrote to the Archbishop, and they got in touch with the media. And on Pentecost Sunday, in late 1998, they gathered at St Patrick's Cathedral here behind us in order to make witness of their sexuality and to speak to the church authorities and to the congregation. This was not intended as a confrontation. People stood up, they got in line for communion as per usual, but they were wearing rainbow sashes, and that was the name that they gave to their movement. When they were refused communion, they returned to their pews, as was usual, but remained standing rather than kneeling, and that was unusual. It drew attention to the fact that they were part of the community, even though they weren't being allowed to participate fully. All of those who were wearing the rainbow sash, or even just little rainbow flags, were refused communion. Men and women, gay and straight and bi, trans people, their family, their friends, everybody. The then Archbishop, the man who refused them communion, one George Pell, spoke angrily from the pulpit and was applauded by much of the crowd that had gathered. He went on for weeks and weeks defending his position, and in a very short time he'd been supported by every single Archbishop in Australia in refusing communion to those who were wearing a rainbow sash. The rainbow sash movement went on for quite a while, not just in these big public events, but working in local congregations and writing and thinking and trying to think about the ways in which they related to the church and they wanted it to relate to them. After a while, they started talking about themselves as a celebratory group, of talking about the way in which they wanted the church to change, but without necessarily confronting it. They talked about the dignity of the call that we have received, the power of the courage we share, and the grace of the witness and challenge we generously offer to the church. The group no longer exists, but its ripple effects continue still today.